So I'm a little under the weather, so just bear with me. But I got my notes here, and then all right, let's start it. So today I want to talk to you about social learning and aggression and how it affects the cognitive functions, mostly in particular to children, and how easily they can be influenced to do negative things rather than positive things, whether it be peers, family members, stuff like that. I want to start off with Albert Bandura. He is a psychologist, I think, or yeah, psychologist, and he developed the learning of social, theory, not learning, theory of social learning, and this was during the 1960s to mid to late, um, early to mid 70s. He has a book titled Social Learning, and this was developed in 1977 using some of his research at the time. One of Bandura's main arguments is that we often learn through observation, whether it be through peers, family members, or let's say the environment around us. And then we tend to act upon those based off of what we have viewed and whether or not we have been taught that it is better. He's quoted with saying, "Fortunately, most human behavior is learned observationally through modeling from others," which pretty much means that we as humans, we watch someone committing an action and then we often tend to repeat that action. Now, whether it's a good action or bad action, that's ultimately what depends on the influence that the person has on you. His argument makes sense in the fact that children, when it comes to children in general, they're not really known for being aggressive in their behaviors, but rather they're often taught it, whether it's from their parents, their other family members, or even their peers. And so later on in life, when they tend to lash out or whatever in anger, or they start showing aggressive behaviors, it's often because of that early point in life when they're shown it. An example of this would have to be Bandura's Bobo doll experiment, which was in 1961. Pretty much the gist of the experiment is he took a bunch of kids and he put them into these rooms, and then he had a group of adults that he recorded on video. They were shown yelling at this inflatable doll as well as abusing or hitting the inflatable doll. Then what he did, he took this video and then he showed one group of children the video, and then he kept one group of children without seeing the video. And then later on, he took both groups of kids, he put them inside the room with the inflatable doll, and he found that they were twice as likely to recreate what was shown in the video, such as the yelling, the punching, the hitting, the kicking, whatever it was that the parents themselves were doing. This pretty much proves his point that children are not entirely aggressive in nature because they're often just doing what they have seen. Because the group that didn't watch the videos, they weren't aggressive to this inflatable doll. They didn't get to see this video of the adults doing it, so they didn't have that negative influence on it. Now, in terms of modern time, social media, the internet, video games, stuff like that's got a large impact on kids nowadays. Just to the fact of what's out there now. I mean, games are more violent, TV shows have a lot of action in them. They're not necessarily, stuff that you really want to show kids, just because at that early age, they're really, really influenced, and they like to recreate what they see in those same shows or these video games. They like to perform the same actions. They want to be their little heroes. According to the American Academy of Family Physicians, kids by the time that they are to finish elementary school have seen at least 8,000 murders as well as over 100,000 other different criminal acts or violence, which is crazy to think of. That's just by elementary school age. Think of what middle school and so on, high school, what they're experiencing. A quote by Mr. Bandura would be that television is a major vehicle of socialization that transmits messages that shape our values, beliefs, and behaviors, which just goes on to prove the point of media and then the influence it has on the brain of, well, in this case, kids, but it also has a brain impact on adults too, just not as severe of an impact as children because they're more easily susceptible to this. Now, although media does have a large impact, it's not the only one. Like I said before, family members, peers, and of course the social groups they surround themselves in, they also have a very large role in it. Peers in particularly, as well as family members, because when it comes to family members, when a child grows up in a home where, like, for disciplining them, they're shown acts of violence as discipline, whether it's like, I guess, hitting, spanking, or some kind of form of punishment that endures pain. This often leads them to create those actions, whether it be with their kids when they grow up or towards others, as if they do something that they got punished for, so they think they have to be the ones to punish them in the same way. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, when a children is exposed to this negative behavior and violence at an early age, they're 3 times as likely to either become a victim later on in life or to become the abuser later on in life. Now, that's not a very good statistic. That just shows that if we leave it untreated in children, this can cause very bad issues later on in life. An example of this would have to be bullying. People bully often because of the power that it gives them and the control that they have, since they don't have that control in their lives. And this happens through peer reinforcement. So that behavior is just reinforced with the negative impact that it has on the peers. So the bully has all this positive impact to them because they feel a sense of control in what they are doing. But for their peers, it's negatively impacting. It's causing fear. It's causing them to not want to be around these people and so on, or not even want to talk to teachers about it, which allows it to go on and on and on for years, Now, there is good news because there is ways that we can reverse these negative impacts. There's programs like the Second Step program. They've been shown 50%, at least 50%, that they were able to reverse these negative impacts that social media, their family, peers, all of these negative tendencies. They've been able to reverse that and create positive impacts that these children are now able to do by showing them emotional needs and social needs, like learning how to talk to people and how to treat others, whether it be empathetic, stuff like that. Now, if children are so easily to be influenced in a negative way, what is stopping us from teaching them good things and impacting them in a positive way and just changing the narrative? Pretty much that's all I got to say.